3 years ago, one of my former classmates, I've known him since kindergarten, passed away. He had overdosed on heroin, and the reason he had gotten addicted to drugs was that he had hurt himself playing basketball and used painkillers and then switched to heroin. And he struggled with it for many years because I know he had a time when he had somewhat recovered and we had some meaningful times together during that time. And then he relapsed and he died. He was 29 years old, I think. He died. And his death, obviously it saddened me, but it also scared me because I have an addictive personality. And I used to have a lot of car accidents and a lot of mishaps. And I feared that if I ever got unconscious, that doctors would try to give me painkillers or other drugs that I might become addicted to. I can't tell you how many times I had to fight off somebody wanting to give me something. I get hurt on my bicycle and I gotta fight tooth and nail to not get the tetanus vaccine, or they want to give me Tylenol or something. I can't tell you how many times I've had to fight somebody trying to give me something. I can't tell you that. That's when I'm conscious and able to do it, and even that's annoying enough. And so I got very fearful that I would get into an accident and be given painkillers. And for a time, I wanted to find out how to put in my medical directives in some way to say, hey, don't give me any painkillers. At least the other stuff, the Tylenol, the vaccines, I can detoxify from that. That stuff generally isn't addictive, right? So I kept putting that off, though, because I had other things going on. And then we had COVID-19. And I remember there was a silver lining to COVID-19. I didn't have to drive anymore. Because one of the biggest ways I could have gotten hurt was a car accident. And I remember thinking getting a little bit of a reprieve from that. Anyway, but then I heard about people being quarantined forcefully. And I worried that if I got quarantined, if I could get access to healthy foods. You know, my big fear is that maybe I'll have a mild case of COVID-19. I get quarantined, but I get even more sick from the junk food that they give me. COVID-19 might not have killed me, but hurting my immune system from the junk food might, right? And that was my big fear. Part of the reason that I started doing intermittent fasting was I wanted to work my way up, so that even if I got quarantined for 2 weeks, I could survive that without eating. That was part of the reason I went on intermittent fasting. I had other issues at hand too, but actually that's how much I feared it. Now, after I successfully did a few 2 or 3 day fasts, I quickly realized that if I could get over food addiction, maybe the drug addiction problem was a little bit bigger than I had imagined. The painkiller stuff doesn't scare me anymore as much. I mean, yes, I would prefer not to take it, but I'm not so scared of that anymore because I got over quite a number of addictions. You gotta understand where I used to be with addictions. I would be at a meeting with my boss, and all of a sudden I would get a strong urge to go masturbate. Masturbating was another one of my big addictions, and I couldn't focus for the rest of the meeting. I can't tell you how many times I've lost focus. A food craving, a masturbating craving, or you name it. I was just talking to one of my former classmates who's trying to quit using nicotine. He used to smoke, now he vapes, but I think he wants to quit vaping as well. I asked him if he ever has a nicotine urge during a meeting, and that doesn't seem to bother him, but yet he can't quit. So he struggles with the longer horizons. How do I get off nicotine holistically, as a whole, right? I suffer from the immediate cravings of the food and the masturbating, and potentially drug use if I ever got involved, and caffeine sometimes. So I think I probably would have an easier time. But now, after I've gotten through the drug addiction scare, after I've gotten through the quarantine scare, now we have the vaccine! I just want to point out that in an industrialized, civilized world, nobody should have to live in fear of the medical establishment, right? For an establishment that's supposed to be there to help you, it's generated a lot of fear for me.